Hi everyone, welcome to North and South podcast. This is Tim. I'm going to speak about two things today. The first one is Cosy Lives, as they call it in Australia, which is the cost of living crisis. And I've had a few podcasts where I've referred to the difficulty it is for people in the UK to try and keep their heads above water. We know that a lot of people who are on benefits are in work. We know that there's about 14 million Britons hungry at the moment. Food bank use is rising exponentially. And we've literally got a government who don't care and believe that if they just keep pushing the cult of the individual and culture war nonsense, everyone will forget about the parlous state of the National Health Service. The fact that trying to get a GP appointment is like trying to win the national lottery, that the cost of food is going up, the damage to the mortgage done by Liz Truss's premiership, the mortgage market, is really hitting homeowners and people who want to buy. Food is increasing. We're getting the double whammy of COVID and the credit crunch and Brexit on top with the worst performing economy in the G7. And Labour are treading carefully and the Conservatives are just in disarray, just a culture war party. Since 2016, since Brexit, we had the cuts of the Osborne and Cameron years, which have really damaged the economy and contracted it. We've then had Brexit and COVID, and we've just got a party of culture warriors fighting amongst themselves, the Conservative Party, bolstered by a right-wing print media and the ability of the Conservatives to play to their people. We already know that they're changing the boundaries to suit them. They're using voter suppression to discourage people from voting. And if they give older people who've already got mortgages and may already own their homes a few little bits and bobs, they can win key elections. And it really is a sad state of affairs in the UK these days in that regard. But everyone's getting hit really hard and people in work are struggling. The cost of nursery care for children in this country is ridiculous. I think it's the highest in the developed world. And you've got to ask in the UK, what are we paying taxes for? We're not getting anything back. And that's exactly what the Conservatives want. Then they can contract the state, or certainly the state that seeks to actually help British citizens, and just live in a constant state of one party rule. Just absolutely shocking. Bad times for everyone. I think the young people as well, that the housing market in this country, the cost of renting and buying new homes is just ridiculous. And we are going to have huge intergenerational poverty to go on top of the inequality we've already got in this country, which is getting worse and worse. Again, the government just don't seem to care. And if they said, yeah, what are the issues? What are the statistics saying? What can we do to help? Instead, it's just culture war and cult of the individual. You get yourself out of it nonsense, which we know historically where that leads. A lot of people are relying on the parents. A lot of people are hoping that university degrees give them a little bit more flexibility in the market moving forward. But very, very difficult times for young people growing up with a government with such lack of vision. And we've had pretty much 13 years of this now. 13 years. And even Conservatives have got to admit it has been poor the last 13 years. Very, very poor. You can dress it up all you want and say you hate the other side, but terrible state of affairs politically and in terms of the economy in this country. Just a complete lack of vision. Global Britain, shocking, absolutely shocking. But it'd be good to speak to people who are affected by these kind of things on the front line, coming onto the podcast and speaking. As well as that, I just want to speak about something more positive. And while what I've just said, people can make decisions in their lives and can improve themselves and join groups and get active politically, which isn't just to do with voting, politics is what you do every day to try and improve the situation in the UK and the political economy. I just want to talk about the day I've had today, because I woke up today and I haven't cycled for a long time. I used to be big on me cycling. I've since become a father, and it's difficult sometimes fitting it all into life. But I've spoken a lot about the importance of exercise and meaning in people's lives before. And when I wake up in the morning, I always think of, right, what am I doing today? What can I do this morning? What can I do in the afternoon? What am I doing this evening? 3 things. Might just be a little thing like washing the dishes or something, but just come up with like 3 little things that you're going to do that day if you find that you're one of those people who lacks a bit of structure and overthinks things and can dwell on things a little bit too much if you haven't got that purpose and meaning. So think about that little strategy. So today I got up, and this morning I got the train from my girlfriend's to my parents' house where my bike is. I've got a good bike. And I cycled from Bootle to Ormskirk. I was cycling into the wind for a lot of it, and there's some really tough hills coming up from Bootle to Ormskirk in the northwest of England, just north of Liverpool. Ormskirk is northeast of Liverpool. But as I was cycling, I just got all the endorphins, and I can't emphasise how important exercise is to a good start to the day. I do yoga in the mornings, I sometimes run in the mornings, I sometimes go on my exercise bike in the mornings. And that boost I get of endorphins, positive chemicals, I'm always better when I do it. Always better. And yet there are still some days when I might not. Sometimes it might be because my son's up early or whatever, and it's tough. But try and build exercise into your day. So this morning I went down to my parents' house and cycled. Took about 45 minutes. It was quite a punishing cycle, but I was going through the green belt, beautiful fields, nature, and I just felt like I was on holiday because the sun was out. It was like being in a strange town or a strange place because of the beauty of nature and being on a bike rather than being in a car or on a train or on a bus. And I've also spoken a lot about getting out into nature as much as possible, and I'm going to be speaking to someone about that quite soon. But if you can get up, and even if you just go for a walk, if you can get out there into nature, into the outside world, and just breathe a bit of fresh air and exercise, and if you can cycle or run or whatever it is that you're into, just do something amazing every day. And exercise can be a part of that amazement. So I got up and I cycled, and it was tough and it was draining, but I got to the top of the hill where the church is in Ormskirk, and then it was literally all downhill from there. And I've been feeling really good all day as a result of it. What an investment. I didn't spend a penny doing it. Well, actually, it cost me £6 to get the train home, to then get the bike and come back up, and all the overheads with the bike, etc. But, I've got all the gear, no idea, for cycling, accoutrement, etc. and paraphernalia. So I have my helmet on, my cycling shades, my cycling gloves, my luminous jacket, my click-on shoes, because I was big into it a few years ago, and I absolutely loved it. And I wish I could do it every single morning. So whatever it is you do in the morning, get up with meaning and purpose and routine. Try and do a bit of exercise and try and get out there in nature. And if you can, cycle. I remember an old workplace of mine got a couple of electric bikes in that they bid for, and you had to book them online. And I used to work in Southport. Anyway, I booked this electric bike, and I cycled from Southport to Bootle, 14 miles. On this electric bike, and the electric bike kicks in if you go below a certain speed, and it keeps you moving along, helps you go uphill, etc. And I got home that night, had my tea, went to bed. It was probably the best sleep I've ever had. And then the next morning I got up and cycled in, and I was buzzing all day. And even though I was physically tired in the afternoon, I'm a teacher, I had just a mental satisfaction that I'd just done something amazing. And I cycled in with a work colleague called Emily a few times, and we came over the fields at Lydiate and saw the sunrise over the fields. But I remember the first time I cycled in by myself, coming off from Bootle to Southport, and literally the sun rose between Formby and Southport, Ainsdale, which is on the coast. And it was absolutely beautiful to see the world early on and to see the sunrise. It's just the most amazing, beautiful part of the day. And it just made me realise that there's just something beautiful and bigger than yourself in the world, a natural beauty that you can link with and connect with. You don't have to be religious to think like that, but it was just absolutely beautiful. I then got into work, got showered, got changed, and even though, as I said earlier, I was physically tired in the afternoon, I was just buzzing. It's probably one of the best things I've ever done, that big bike ride into work. About 6 or 7 years ago it was now. I did it for about a year, and it was just so special to be out early, to be cycling, to be in nature, to see the sunrise. Absolutely spellbinding. So seize the day and do all these magic little things that you can do in life. And if you're not into cycling, yeah, you might not have time, it could be expensive or whatever, but if you have got a bike in the shed, get out and do something. Set yourself a target, go somewhere, try and get on a nice cycle path, a nice route to somewhere quite scenic, have a coffee or some lunch or whatever on the other side, and then cycle back and live your life and enjoy your life. So, 3 things today. 1, the bad political economic climate in the UK, but let's not be too negative about that. Let's try to change things. And 2, use exercise, use morning routines to find meaning and to do something amazing. And don't forget how important nature is in making us feel good. So there's my advice. And think about the 3-part day. What are you going to do that day? 3 little things. It might be go to work. It might be come home from work. It might be have a nice meal. Those 3 things, just think mentally, right, I've done those 3 things today. It just helps you think about what you're doing each day and the significance you get from them. Cheers. See you later.